Now at 10 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com. Paid them to fix her plumbing, but instead they tore a Victoria woman's home apart and vanished, leaving behind a costly disaster.
A Victoria County man is in jail accused of shooting and killing his father this weekend.
Plus, a chilling cold snap is on the way. A look at preparations to help residents stay warm and ready before the temperatures drop.
Well, we can already see it on the map. As you can see, this big blue blob, that's the Arctic air. That's going to be dropping straight south and will be in our area by tomorrow night. It's going to be very cold, dangerously cold. And so we'll be talking more about that coming up in a moment.
And the Victoria West swim team is ready to compete in the state meet this Friday. I'll tell you more in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Shawna Currie.
And I'm Brubaker.
We're starting things off tonight with a look at a cold blast barreling our way. But just how low will these temperatures go?
Sounds like a song. How low will they go? Here's First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Pettis. Mac is watching for that big blue blob.
Yeah, I've been chasing it all day. I'll tell you how low it'll go. First of all, we have the alert advisory already up for tomorrow, because between Wednesday and Friday, all the crossroads are going to be at sub-freezing temperatures down into the mid-20s. Now, get a load of these temperatures. These are the low temperatures for the next 5 days. 58 tomorrow, and 36 on Wednesday, and then 26 on Thursday, 34 on Friday, and then up to 39 on Saturday. So right about here with a 30-mile-an-hour wind, that's going to feel like it's in the teens. And so it is one of those nights, one of those days that you have to really bundle up and stay indoors if you can. The rest of the state will be suffering through a lot of this, so we'll be talking more about that and take a look at your low temperatures coming up in just a moment. We'll toss it back to you.
With that bitter cold blast heading our way, local and state officials are getting ready and warning residents to take action before the temperatures plummet.
25 News Now reporter Ray Mosley has the story.
ERCOT has sent out a weather watch regarding the cold front that will arrive on Wednesday night. The lowest it'll be is 35 degrees. It's recommended that you wear multiple layers of clothing, find a relative, a shelter to bundle up in, and most of all, if you can, stay home.
You need to find out where the shelters in town are going to be.
Christ's Kitchen will be open at 7 a.m. Tuesday to serve coffee. Officials at the Salvation Army say to take precaution by wearing gloves or to stop by there as well.
You know, winter is not, it's far from over. It's far from over.
The Homeless Coalition is also planning to open the shelter. On this week, 4 years ago, Victoria was under a hard freeze that caused power and water outages. Ray Mosley, KAVU TV, 25 News Now.
The Salvation Army, Midcoast Family Services, and other organizations will meet tomorrow morning to decide the locations and hours for local warming shelters to be open. Governor Greg Abbott is warning Texans to prepare for the severe weather that's expected to impact the state in the next coming days.
Extreme cold temperatures along with the threat of flooding and fire danger are all possibilities across Texas.
We actually are dealing with fire-based concerns out in the West Texas region, ranging from El Paso over to Pecos, Texas. It's an element that Texas emergency responders are making sure that they're going to be able to monitor, contain, provide the resources, whatever is needed. And then after that, there's going to be a storm coming in that will bring a lot of heavy rain to East Texas and especially Southeast Texas, where we are monitoring for potential flooding situations in those areas. And then is going to come what will likely be the coldest weather event of the year. And actually in some places in the state of Texas, it may be the coldest event ever marked in history in the state of Texas.
Governor Abbott says the state is ready to respond, and he says residents should be as well.
For our viewer poll today, we want to know how you avoid business scams. Do you read reviews and compare prices? Do you ask for everything in writing? Do you only use trusted businesses or not really worry much about scams? We want to hear from you. Visit crossroadstoday.com/vote. And this has gone up quite a bit since 6 o'clock. 75% of our voters say they only use trusted businesses. And then the other three options are kind of running in line there. So we'll have more on how this is impacting a local woman here in just a minute. A family dispute in Victoria County turns deadly, ending with a son behind bars and a father fatally shot. 42-year-old Ronald LeBlanc Jr. was taken into custody by Victoria County Sheriff's deputies on Sunday. Deputies rushed to a house on Cooley Road where they found 78-year-old Ronald LeBlanc Sr. dead from a gunshot wound. Investigators say the shooting happened after a heated altercation outside the house between the father and son. LeBlanc Jr. is now facing a murder charge and is in the Victoria County Jail on $500,000 bond.
8 people in the country illegally were detained in Lavaca County last week. One of those people, 28-year-old Daniel Tristan Guerra of Mexico, pleaded guilty in Victoria County 4 years ago to 2 counts of invasive visual recordings in a bathroom. He was placed on 5 years probation. Authorities said he had no prior removals for immigration issues. One person died after being shot during a series of aggravated robberies at a Bay City apartment complex. The shooting happened Thursday afternoon in the 1900 block of Palm Village Boulevard in Bay City. Authorities have not released details about the person who died. Police say the investigation remains active. Anyone with information about the robberies or shooting is asked to call Bay City Police at 979-323-1771. A Victoria resident is out $36,000 after a plumber started work but never finished the project.
25 News Now weekend anchor Trenton Whiting has been digging into the details, and he joins us with the latest. Trenton?
Dawn, Shawna, what Blanca Jimenez thought would be the start of necessary plumbing repairs turned into tragedy after a contractor left her picking up the pieces. $36,000. That's how much Blanca Jimenez paid to redo the plumbing at her home. That's tens of thousands of dollars down the drain after a Corpus Christi contractor deserted the job with all their gear before it was completed.
And they got in their trunk and we all witnessed them taking all their tools and leaving. All I got was a shot of the license plate when they left.
It belonged to her sister-in-law, Julia Cantu. There, Cantu raised a family and ran a bridal and floral business for over 40 years in Victoria, all without knowing how to read or write. When Cantu died in 2010, Jimenez felt called to purchase the home that she calls historic.
I have always admired this house. It's a memorable home.
Now, Jimenez's restrooms are unusable as the senior fell victim to an apparent scam. She's even using a makeshift restroom in her closet. Broken walls, flooring, and a huge trench dug up in the yard are the only evidence of any work done at the home. The company asked for money up front and then asked for more and more funds throughout the project for materials and tools. They didn't have anything they needed for the project.
I stopped at $36,000.
Tools weren't the only things missing for this company. One of her sons, Bobby Lopez, came to Texas from California to be closer with his mom, especially after hearing how much money she was losing to this project.
I shook this man's hand and the guy didn't know what he was talking about. I showed him all my certifications and the guy says, I do not have any of that.
The plumbing issue is another setback to keeping the home. A costly divorce with her ex-husband led to a remortgage, increasing her interest and debt. Even more dire, doctors found tumors in her brain late last year, making her health a concern as well. Now, Jimenez is asking for help from anyone who can. She no longer has enough funds to continue the repairs, and the scammers depleted funds she says were her burial costs. She says she is trying to stay positive, but hopes no one else experiences what she has.
So I love my home. I would love to finish up, and really sorry that I was ignorant as a senior. But we do things like that sometimes.
The family created a GoFundMe to support Jimenez's efforts to complete the project and recover after the events. They're looking for all the help that they can get. Dawn, Shawna, back to you.
Trenton, thank you. 25 News Now is watching several races in Seadrift. The city of Seadrift is holding an election for mayor between former Mayor Elmer DeForest and Lori Stafford Thomas. The position has been vacant since Jesse Hubble resigned after a month in office. There has been no mayor in that position since. Also, last spring, a council member resigned, which also left that spot vacant. For Seadrift City Council, Richard Battles, Tanya Cunningham, Randall Kane, and Christy Kosser are running against incumbents Kenneth Reese and Tracy Johnson for 3 vacant seats. Election day in Seadrift is May 3rd.
The Texas legislature is considering a statewide cell phone ban in public schools. A Texas House bill would require students who bring a cell phone or other personal electronic devices, to lock them in a secure pouch, case or bag provided by the district during regular school hours. The Republican representative who filed the bill says the average teen spends over 5 hours a day on social media. Students receive an average of over 20 notifications an hour during school hours.
That's a lot.
Yes,
wow.
A lot. Well, cheerleading is full of high-flying stunts that can sometimes lead to serious injuries.
Proper training and safety measures are key to preventing accidents.
More than 3.5 million kids in the U.S. participate in cheerleading. It's a fun activity, but unfortunately, head injuries are common. Concussions caused by a hard hit on the head can lead to symptoms like headaches, nausea, or vomiting. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends taking precautions to keep kids safe while they're on the mat. Make sure they're landing those flips and tumbles on a soft surface, and they've got plenty of spotters to keep them safe. Good coaching and strong technique can also help them stay injury-free. Getting a medical checkup before participation is also a good idea. If your child does take a fall, watch out for signs of a concussion for several days. If you suspect there's an issue, see your pediatrician as soon as possible. With this Medical Minute, I'm Jacqueline Lee.
The Food and Drug Administration has set the recall of nearly 2.5 million cases of Made Good brand granola bars as a Class 2 recall. The Chicago-based company Riverside Natural Foods, Inc. is voluntarily recalling the products due to possible metal contamination. The company said the metal could be from a small, flat brush bristle that's used in the manufacturing process. The FDA's rating means the product could cause temporary or medically reversible health consequences. Made Good says it will refund any products on the recall list.
Made good, huh?
Yeah. Well, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell to receive alerts. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, a plane flips upside down in a fiery crash, the miraculous way that every passenger made it out alive.
Also ahead, massive protests erupt nationwide, why demonstrators say this is just the beginning.
It's that time of year again. You know what's inside, but you just can't bring yourself to open it. How much could it be this time? Will it break the bank, or will it be manageable? There's no escaping it. The bill is here. The Property Tax Puzzle, Thursday at 10 p.m. on 25 News Now Extra.
Some scary moments at an air show in Laredo when a pilot is forced to make an emergency landing after an engine caught fire. Event organizers say the pilot had cuts and bruises, but otherwise was okay. He was flown to a San Antonio hospital just as a precaution. Fire crews quickly put out the fire and the air show resumed shortly after. No one else was hurt. The National Transportation Safety Board and the Federal Aviation Administration are investigating the incident. The Stars and Stripes Air Show is an annual event in Laredo to help mark the President's Day holiday. A terrifying crash landing at Toronto's Pearson Airport. A Delta flight flipped upside down with 80 people on board.
Authorities say miraculously, everyone on board survived, and those hurt had relatively minor injuries.
Delta Airlines Flight 4819 had 80 people on board when it crash landed at Toronto's Pearson Airport. You can see the plane flipped upside down, wings torn off, and burn marks on the fuselage. All 80 people, passengers, and crew made it out of the plane alive, according to officials. Regional paramedics say 15 people were taken to various hospitals, 3 with critical injuries. One of the passengers in critical condition is a child. The FAA says the crash happened around 2:45 p.m. local time. Emergency crews responded, hosing that fuselage down. People are seen walking away from the upside-down plane. Around the time of the crash, wind gusts were 40 miles per hour on the ground, stronger several hundred feet above as Toronto dealt with the remnants of a winter storm. But it's unclear how that contributed.
Anytime there's a mishap, there's never one single reason for a mishap, but certainly one of the prime mishaps here will be the weather.
Delta Airlines says it is aware of the incident. The Transportation Safety Board of Canada will lead the investigation. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
Southwest Airlines is making major cuts, announcing it will lay off 15% of its corporate workforce, more than 1,700 employees. This marks the first mass layoff in the Dallas-based company's history, with the cuts set to begin in April. 11 senior executives, including vice presidents, will be let go as part of the restructuring. Southwest says the move is expected to save over $200 million this year and even more next year. The airline has been undergoing big changes following pressure from hedge fund Elliott Investment Management, which pushed for leadership and operational overhauls. People throughout the country on Monday protested the Trump presidency. They demonstrated as part of the 50501 movement. They called a day of action against executive overreach with related protests planned at state capitals nationwide.
Restoring the rule of law to our government. We have a federal administration that's being ransacked by rich billionaires, and we have a president who is operating outside the bounds of Article 1 of the Constitution. He's acting unilaterally and showing complete disdain for not only Congress but the judicial branch as well. And we want our Congress people to restore the rule of law and engage with the federal government in the way that it was meant to be, where Congress holds the purse and the judicial branch determines what is constitutional or not.
Many of the protesters say they are very concerned about the future of the country.
And the Oscar goes to, well, we want to know who you think it'll go to. So predict the Oscars for your chance to win a $60 gift card bundle from Peter Piper Pizza. The deadline for entries is March 2nd. To submit your prediction, visit crossroadstoday.com.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's 58 degrees right about now. This morning it was rather chilly when we got up, but then it was sunny. And then all of a sudden the clouds rolled in. Our low was 36 this morning, but this afternoon we got up to 69. However, tomorrow will be in the mid-70s, but don't get used to it, because by midnight that cold north wind will blow in, and we'll be talking all about that, the Arctic blast, after this. Well, like I mentioned, today the south wind came in. You probably noticed the clouds sort of thicken up over the area. Of course, you can see right here, we've got low clouds going this way and then high level clouds going across. But as we look to the north, we see what's going on. This is a big area of low pressure. This is the storm center. In other words, everything's flowing into it and then rising up. That's where they get the maximum precipitation out of that system. And just to the north of it is the big dome of cold air. What's going to happen, because the slow is going counterclockwise, right? It's going to roll toward Louisiana, or rather Missouri, and pull that cold air way down south, and it's going to be bitter cold. Now, we have the alerts up because we're going to be either near freezing or below freezing for about 3 or 4 days. And you guys, you know, we've been through this before earlier this winter, but it's just again, and we need to get ready, especially for pets, plants, pipes, people, and farm animals too, because they're going to need a little break from the wind. Right here on Thursday morning will be the bottom of the storm, a 26-degree temperature. You can look it up and Google it. You can say, what's the 30-mile-an-hour wind? What's the wind chill? It'll be about 17 degrees, so it'll feel on your body like 17 degrees. So here's future winds. You notice that on Tuesday, they're coming up out of the south, fairly gusty, but then the storm rolls in, and you can see the winds right there, 40 miles an hour in Gonzales, and then roll down through the area, sustained at about 30 to 35 mile an hour winds. It will be very windy, very cold, very dry. The sun will be up, but you won't notice it because it'll be bitter cold all the way through at least Thursday and Friday. Now, we've got another map. We'll show you the temperatures, the way they're going to just drop off the table. Here we are at 6 a.m. Tuesday in the 50s and a few 60s. It gets up into the 70s in the daytime by noon. And then at night, boom, there it is. By 11 o'clock at night, should be hitting Victoria. The winds will shift out of the north, very strong, 25, 35 miles an hour, and then the temperature will just drop. And again, for Thursday morning, which will be the bottom of the storm, there we go. We're looking at 26 to 28 degrees. Now, that's for us. Austin, San Antonio will be about 20. Dallas will be about 15, and Lubbock and Amarillo will be about 10 as a low temperature. So this is a, shall we say, a matter of life and death if you get caught out there unprepared for this. So for those people who may not be, shall we say, in tune with the forecast, you ought to contact them or let them know, because this is a serious one. This is not just ooh, it's a little cold. This is a bitter cold storm. There you see again, the storm comes out of the Rockies, big snowstorm right about here. The ice stays North Texas, then the Arctic cold drops. Now again, this will be clear and cold, dry and windy. And then eventually, by the time we get to Friday, the Gulf air rolls back up and we get into a period of rainy weather pattern, which will probably be Friday and Saturday. You can see it right about there. So quite a bit of weather coming this week, folks. Tomorrow will be the last day of reasonably mild weather. We're looking at 63 in the morning, getting up to 72 in the afternoon down in Port Lavaca, 57 to about 74 in Cuero. But remember, we start off cloudy, then it gets drizzly, and then it starts to rain as the front comes through at night. So it'll be a little bit on the slippery side. And then again, there's the front, and there's the very cold weather. We've got alert advisories for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and we might even go Friday, Saturday. So bundle up, folks. This is a real one. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we got a QR code. We'd love for you to scan that and put Crossroads Today on your phone. So we'll toss it over to Max, because basketball is played indoors. Right?
That's right, Mac, and at least everyone gets to stay warm, because again, we had some good basketball action tonight here in the Crossroads. We'll give you all tonight's games here in a few moments in sport. All right, good evening here at Crossroads. And on Friday, we got the 5A, 6A state swim and dive meet at the Joe Jamel Texas Swimming Center at the University of Texas. And now here in Victoria, we have one of the top swimmers in Victoria East, Nicholas Turner, who will be competing in the boys' 100-yard backstroke. And also, Victoria West girls swim team has 4 swimmers competing in the 200-yard freestyle relay this Friday. Now, earlier this morning, we attended the West swim team practice and talked with head coach Dare Sedlick about how he feels about this team going to state.
It's very difficult to make state, so anytime we send any athletes to state, it's a really big deal, and I'm very proud of the hard work they put in this year.
Now, Sedlick hoping to get to a great place this weekend for state swim meet. One of the other girls competing in the 200-meter freestyle relay is Emma Florida, who's glad she's part of the swim team and has a great relaxing technique she does before every swim meet.
I was originally at the beginning of the year on the B relay, so just kind of God helping me advance to this point is really amazing. I'm only like a worship music kind of person, so throughout the entire meet I'm always listening to worship music, just kind of like, God, I'm here to have fun, I'm here to glorify you. It is how it is. If we win, we praise you. If we lose, we praise you.
That's great advice there from Emma, and she's one of the swimmers that's going to be on the relay team for the 200-yard freestyle relay. So tune in tomorrow there at 25 News Now Sports at 6 p.m. We'll hear from 2 of the other swimmers about how they feel going into the relay race there to state. Now over to some basketball action, where tonight we had the Tidehaven women's basketball team play the George West Longhorns in the regional semifinal round. This game was dominated by Tidehaven from the jump. They got big production there from Mary Johnson, who scored 31 points tonight as they won 61-29. And after the game, we talked to head coach Michelle Wagner and star of the game there, Mary Johnson, about what has led this historic run for this team.
Just simply because there's really no tension. There's no people getting frustrated. There's no selfishness on, oh, I want this many points, I got to have these. It's when one person knows, hey, they're having a good game, like, let's feed them the ball, let's get them the ball. Oh, they need more rebounds, like, let's do that. So it's all about each other. Like, everybody's trying to boost each other and get the best for each other out of it.
I come in by surprise. I mean, it's round 3. You don't expect to do something like that, but I mean, you do what you do.
Both Johnson and Coach Wagner are ready to keep this season going. So they're either going to face the Jordanton Saguas or the San Diego Vaqueros in the regional final there on Thursday or Friday. Now over to some men's hoops as they started the bi-district round play here tonight. The Ganado Indians face the Thorndale Bulldogs at Giddings High School, and for the Ganado Indians, did not go their way. They lost this game 86-44 there to Thorndale. Again, for Ganado, their season ends at 9-8 overall. Now over to the second game tonight at Giddings High School, where the Shiner Comanches face the Milano Eagles out of College Station. And Milano, they would get this victory in a tight battle, winning 62-52. And Shiner exits the first round there as Bo Bohm led the team at 15 points, but it was not the result. They end their season at 11-6 overall. And then finally tonight, day 1 of the high school baseball season started up here tonight. Victoria East Titans faced the Robstown Cotton Pickers at Riverside Stadium there tonight. And the East Titans won 13-3 with 10 of those 13 runs coming in the first inning. Some of the stars from the game are Bentley Blinka getting an RBI double and scored 2 runs. Also, Caden Critic drew in a walk, and a couple other unforced errors from Robstown helped the East Titans get the victory. And the Titans, they're back in action against Alameda Crawford this Thursday night. That's going to do it here in sports. Don and Shawna, back to you.
All right, thank you, Max, and stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, we'll take a last look at your weather. Plus a baby seal in the middle of a street. Ooh, see the unlikely rescue after the break.
Police in New Haven, Connecticut discover a baby gray seal in the middle of the road. Take a look at that face. New Haven police contacted officials with the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection to help with the seal, who is believed to be just a few weeks old. So it's a little baby. After New Haven police joked, meet the newest addition to the department on X. The seal was taken to the Mystic Aquarium, where it will be rehabilitated before being released into the wild. Not clear how the seal ended up on the street, but it was found a short walk away from the Mill River, which is a tributary of the New Haven Harbor, which ultimately exits to Long Island Sound. So you put all of that together.
Found
and
his way eventually.
He was a little wayward seal, yes.
I've never been in this position. I never want to be in this position. Scary moments for over 100 skiers near Manchester, New Hampshire Monday. At least 125 people were rescued from a ski lift at Pat's Peak after it stopped Monday afternoon. Officials said the lift stopped after the rope that runs the lift up the mountain derailed from the cable. It reportedly took about 90 minutes to get everyone off the lift. No injuries were reported. No one was hurt. The incident is under investigation, and that is really scary.
Yeah.
Not only scary, but I'm sure cold too, just sitting there, not able to.
I've been on lifts like that where you're going sideways, you know, and you could tell the wind was really howling. So 45, 50-mile-an-hour wind is not unheard of at the mountain peaks. So yeah, you're stuck.
Oh yeah, that's a scarier situation than the weather that's coming, but it is the big blue blob.
Yeah, the big blue blob is headed down, and basically I just want everybody to be a heads up and get ready for it. It's going to be very cold beginning after midnight tomorrow, so it's by Wednesday when you really feel it, so bundle up big time. The kids in the morning got to get the hats and the gloves ready and the double pair of socks, because you know, we don't wear union suits anymore like they used to, but we do have thermal underwear, and this is going to be needed. If you're going to be working outdoors this week, you're really going to be needing it, because it's 25 is the lowest temperature we would likely see on Thursday morning.
You'll turn into a big blue blob if you don't dress correctly.
That's right, yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Well, bottoms up, raise your glass and make a toast tomorrow, because it's National Drink Wine Day. This is observed every year on February 18th.
Only tomorrow?
Just tomorrow.
Not every day.
It's a long day.
Not that we need an excuse to drink wine, but it certainly helps to have an observance that actually tells you to indulge. Wine is more than just delicious and buzz-inducing. It can also enhance the flavor of food, and some research shows that in moderation, Mac, it can also be good for your health. February 18th is also National Crab Stuffed Flounder Day.
There we go.
Have your crab stuffed flounder, glass of wine, and there's your celebration for National Drink Wine Day.
It's an interesting combo. Okay, hey, you know.
A white wine with some fish, you know.
Yeah.
Why not? Well, thanks for joining us.
25 News Now Sunrise, 5 a.m. Jimmy Kimmel Live starts now.